back in June, Bethesda had a 45-minute long showcase where they showed what we can expect from StarField when it comes out in just a few weeks. And in the last few seconds of that showcase, we got a hint that they might be adding magic abilities to StarField. Now a list of these abilities has been leaked. Hello ladies and gentlemen, StarField is just around the corner. I'm getting pretty excited for it. So when I saw a list of the magic abilities that they're going to be adding into the game, I thought it would be fun to first go and actually look at what abilities they're going to add, and secondly, talk about whether they actually would fit in the game at all. Now the leak comes to us in form of this list of files that you can see on screen right here. Now all the files is in a format called .bk2, and if you don't know what that file is, don't worry, I didn't either, I had to look it up. It's apparently a video file with its own proprietary video and audio encoding that is developed by a company called Rad Game Tools. So it's essentially like a video format that is specifically designed for video games. And if we take a look at these file names, we can see, for instance, we have a main menu loop. At the top of here, we have all these artifact visions 1 to 9. We know that the game is going to revolve around, the main story of the game is going to revolve around the player going out and looking for some kind of artifact that we're going to collect. And I assume that these artifact visions here is going to be some kind of cutscenes that we're going to encounter through the game. We can also see an animated logo, we can see some kind of ending vision, and then we get to all these power visions. And this is where it begins to get interesting, because the community seems to think that these are the names of some kind of special abilities. Likely they will have something to do with the artifacts. We don't know, obviously, but my guess is that you collect these artifacts, and these artifacts are going to give you magic abilities. And we begin to guess a lot of the abilities we're going to get from the names. For instance, there seems to be quite a few like crowd control ones. We have, for instance, Gravity Wave and Gravity Well. My assumption is that those two, Gravity Wave is going to be pushing people away from you, and Gravity Well is probably going to be either drawing people to you, drawing people to a point so you can cluster people together. If you have AoE attacks, that would be nice to have, stuff like that. Up towards the top of the list, we see one called Anti-Grav Field. That's probably the one we saw in the teaser, where the player reaches out with his hand and everybody just lifts off the ground, floating there in nothing. I've also spotted a number of different or more movement-based ones. We have one called Grav Dash. Again, I assume there's some kind of movement spell or ability. There's also seems to be quite a few more like direct damage. We have Particle Beam, we have Solar Flare, we have Supernova. Two of them I find quite interesting. There's one called Moonform and Void Form. Not really sure what that is. It's some kind of shape-shifting maybe. I mean, your guess is as good as mine at this point. But the questions still stand. Does magic abilities like this even fit into a game like StarField? I was personally expecting the game to be much more of a sci-fi feel to it, but it seems we're still getting this like supernatural element to the game. My personal guess is that, as I said, we're going to be getting these abilities through finding these artifacts, and that also implies that we are probably the player's gonna be the only one that has these abilities in the game world, making you stand out from the crowd in much the same way as we're used to from, for instance, Skyrim, where we are suddenly the Dragonborn that has these shouts that no one else seems, apart from a few undeads, but no one else has access to. But this combination of like futuristic sci-fi spaceship, space exploration, combined with magic abilities is quite a unique combination, and not something we've seen that often. The only other game I can think of that has this combination is Warframe, and it seems to work quite well there. So even though Warframe and StarField is going to be very different types of games, maybe it's going to work. But as you can probably hear, I'm a little bit on the fence about this. On one side, I could see this being implemented well and be a nice addition to the game. On the other hand, I also fear that it's going to feel out of place in the world. And if you're planning to play StarField, then you should definitely stick around to this channel, as I am planning to make a bunch of guides, tutorials, how-tos. It's gonna make your life so much easier in the game, just like I've been doing with Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen for the last 7 years. But that's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys in space.